Deoksugung is one of the 5 grand palaces of the Joseon dynasty and stands as an impressive historical site in the middle of busy Seoul. To truly appreciate this location, we should first take a look at its history. Originally, Deoksugung was not intended to be a royal palace at all. It served as the home of Prince Wolsan, the brother of King Seongjong. However, in 1592 began a period of war and invasion known as the Imjin War, or simply the Japanese invasions of Korea. In the first year of this war, all other palaces in Seoul were destroyed or badly damaged. Due to this, Deoksugung became a temporary royal palace. In 1611, it became an official royal residence when Gwanghae-gun ascended to the throne and gave it the name Gyeongunung Palace. In 1907, the palace finally received its current name of Deoksugung, meaning Palace of Virtuous Longevity. This name originates from the Chinese De, meaning virtue or honor, Shou, meaning long life, and Gong, meaning imperial palace. Possibly the most unique feature of Deoksugung is its combination of old and new. As you walk through the grounds, you can see the architecture of the Joseon dynasty right beside neoclassical buildings. Deoksugung's stone walkway was Korea's first successful attempt to create an urban space where people and nature could coexist. The walkway stretches 900 meters and was constructed using eco-friendly materials. The walkway features over 20 benches and 130 trees, and precautions were taken during construction to ensure a safe space for pedestrians. The entrance to the palace is known as Taeanmun. Here, visitors can watch the changing of the guards.
The two officials Susan and Taya just arrived at the palace to supervise the ceremony. 为了监督交接仪式，两位客人。 교등식에 짝맞이는 게시카고와 함께 커브시기란 구도, 즉 암호를 매일 강조해서 세부자인으로 정하여 국왕께 승낙을 받습니다. 이후 승정원에 전달하여 승정원 관리 주서가 수문장과 수문군에게 알려주는 절차입니다. 승정원 주서와 입정서 사약, 엄코스가 궁궐안으로 퇴장합니다. 수문장과 수문군은 궁궐 전문을 수리하는 진영을 갖추게 됩니다. The two officials are returning to the palace. Commander and the guards will take their positions to defend the front gate of the palace. Shumen. 그 결하기 위해 대학은 앞으로 획사하고 있습니다. After the patrol, the lower cars are marching toward the gate to shift their turns. 实施工程就已。 지금 사과가 전달하는 성자는 국권 열쇠관서를 약속합니다. The vice commander Tata is handing over the maintenance key to the officer in red uniform. 水门侦查下，把王公号实项移交给交接警察下。 교대의식의 두 번째 절차에 따른 지도로 나갈 소리에서 세 번의 업고가 울렸습니다.
After entering the palace, visitors cross the bridge of the Kumchon stream, where the king's carriage would pass in ancient times.
So we go from old to modern type stuff. That's so cool. It looks like those mansions from like Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And we got the old fashioned over there. Modern. Modern. They're neighbors. That's okay. I'm gonna go get a picture of the mountain. So people were originally supposed to live here, but they didn't? Is that what she had said?
Like it was like the Japanese, yeah, the people too, like they wanted to go like for her, and then like the Japanese used it as like an art museum, and then now it's like,
I was gonna say, imagine living here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get something. Oh, it's a sundial. Oh. What time is it?
it is 11:34.
Yep, that's 11:34, I hope.
Deoksugung holds the title of Korea's first European-style building. The building is constructed in the neoclassical style, exemplified by its impressive columns and triangular roof. This building served as the sleeping quarters of the king and royal family, as well as an audience hall. Located inside Deoksugung is the Taean Empire History Museum. The museum introduces the daily life of the imperial family, as well as politics, diplomacy, and culture of the Korean Empire. This museum provides an excellent look into a time of modernization and westernization. From 1897 to 1910, the Korean Empire ruled over the Korean peninsula. Architecturally, Deoksugung Hall is characterized by its inner wall of red bricks and outer wall of granite blocks. The ceiling is built by connecting I-beams in arch plate, and the floor was made by pouring concrete over an iron frame. All of the rooms in the palace building have had their original interior restored. The Korean Empire was established by Emperor Gojong and was the last independent unified Korean state.
Deoksugung Palace is one of the most popular palaces in central Seoul. Its very cheap admission and diverse architecture have locals and expats coming back for more. And the great news for lovers of the palace is that one of its grandest sub-buildings, Deoksugung, will reopen to the public next week after undergoing 5 years of painstaking restoration work. Park Ji-won reports.
Completed in 1910, Seokjojeon is a Western-style stone building, part of Deoksugung Palace in central Seoul. Designed by British architect G.R. Harding, the three-story hall was built according to the 18th century European court style, and it housed King Gojong's sleeping quarters and audience rooms. The building went through so many alterations during more than 35 years of Japanese occupation in the early 20th century and following the Korean War. And Seokjojeon now opens to the public after 5 years of restoration work, which cost some $13 million.
We have put items that have been stored at the National Palace Museum of Korea, but in their original position, after thoroughly studying old pictures and doing our own research.
Seokjojeon will open to the public from next Monday. Visitors can see over 130 displayed items inside the building, including about 40 pieces of original furniture set up at the time of the building's establishment. Visitors can also watch documentaries about Korea's modern history and King Gojong and his royal families. King Gojong was the final king of Joseon dynasty that lasted some 600 years and the first emperor of the short-lived Great Korean Empire, which was forcefully annexed by Japan.
Historians have shown us that Seokjojeon is not a symbol of foreign annexation, but a symbol of King Gojong's willingness for independent modernization. So this hall is of great historic importance to Korea.
Seokjojeon, a grand building that has bore witness to some of the most vivid parts of Korea's modern history, is finally back with the Korean people some 104 years after its establishment. Park Ji-won, Arirang News.
The central lobby of Seokjojeon features a waiting room and an audience chamber. The hall table is an original piece from the time of the Korean Empire. The reception room served as a rest area for palace guests. Here guests could have light conversation with courtiers before meeting the emperor. They were often served Western-style snacks such as champagne and biscuits. The words "reception room" were inscribed in the furniture. The audience chamber is the most luxurious and majestically decorated of all the rooms in Seokjojeon Hall. Its interior and furniture are decorated with the plum blossom design, the seal of the Korean imperial family. The grand dining room served as a venue for dining and official gatherings. There are records of the official dinners that were held at the Korean imperial courts. These dinners commonly featured full-course Western meals. The restoration of the dining scene is based on an illustration contained in Taehan Yejeon, or the Code of Rights of the Korean Empire. The room called Emperor's Bedroom was originally intended to be the bedroom of Emperor Gojong, but was never actually used because the emperor insisted on using Hamnyeonjeon Hall. The pieces of furniture in this room have the inscription Emperor's Bedroom. Due to a lack of historical evidence, restoration of the Emperor and Empress's bedroom is based on artistic interpretation. The Empress's bedroom was originally intended to be a bedroom for honored imperial court Sunhan, but was left vacant since the imperial consort died just after the completion of the building. The furniture in this room has the inscription Empress's Bedroom. The bedrooms are furnished with some of the original items of furniture, as well as British antiques. These British antiques were selected on the basis of the catalogue of British furniture manufacturer Maple & Company. This company provided furniture for the palace at the time of its construction. The Emperor's Library is where the Emperor read books and received his close guests. The room is furnished with a few items based on photographs taken in 1911 and 1918. The room contains original pieces of furniture such as a desk, a double-tier bookcase, and a rotating book cabinet.
I thought it was really interesting how like it used to be like she said there used to be like 10 times the amount of buildings, and it was like 3 times like the size of the landmass. And I think like it's kind of sad in a way that like a lot of it has been burned down, so it's not original, but I think it's really nice that like Korea was dedicated to like restoring these palaces. So it's like a sad history, but it's nice that like we still have at least something to like remember all of the history by.
It's different from others. We lived here 16 years. She's on.
Many critical discussions surrounding national affairs took place here. It is said that the elaborateness of the hall's interior reflects King Gojong's confidence in his ability to lead his country into the 20th century. The Jongwanhan Pavilion was used for banquets for foreign visitors to the palace. It was constructed in 1902 by Russian architect A.I. Sabatin, who was inspired by both Korean and Western designs. The pavilion features Roman-style columns, but is full of Korean motifs.
So actually, our tour guide was telling us a little earlier that these gold railings right here are supposed to be symbols of longevity in Korea. And in Korea there's 10 big symbols of longevity, but particularly the deer and pine trees are 2 of the major ones. And that's why they're in these gold railings right here. So we just got done touring the palace, which is there, and now we are going to have lunch. We're gonna have lunch here at a place called Dalkebi, which is, according to the internet, Seoul's best Korean restaurant, as designated by the Seoul Metropolitan Government. So we'll see.
So we came in and she asked for a reservation, but we didn't. So she puts us in here.
This giant room.
All does. Hey guys, how's it going? Ready to eat? Me too. So this pumpkin soup thing, I accidentally spilled it on the white tablecloth that has nothing else. Oh no. So I'm done. It's too much to eat. Still got this much left over. And then they bring out tea. We can't figure out what kind though. Served in a nice little bowl. Oh, look at this. It looks like a picture photo shoot. Look at tea. How's it going on your end? Able to eat any hole?
Slowly but surely.
Ooh, look at the light.
So post-lunch thoughts, it was really, really good, but really, really expensive.
Per person.
Per person. So, but the doenjang jjigae was like the best doenjang jjigae I've ever had. So if you're looking for like the best doenjang jjigae ever, it might be worth it to come here after you visit Deoksugung.
With purple rice.
They have purple rice too, the special purple grain rice.
That's what we're paying for.
All right, bye.
Deoksugung remains an impressive example of the long, complex history of Korea. Although much of the complex is lost to time, this palace will continue to exemplify Korea's transition into modernization.